Hi, this is June the 15th, and this is a new week after a very eventful one last week. Something that I warned about in my daily updates to last week's video. I said that we had to wait for FOMC to see some possible clarification about the trend, and also warned about the channel breakout, and it happened about midweek after FOMC. Clearly, there's not much move for maneuvering for the Fed. I mean, this probably didn't surprise us, but the extent of the fall, which is incidentally still within reason considering the high volatility, but we lost from 3220 to 3000, so just over 200 points in a matter of 48 hours. There was a bounce back on Friday to check 3088, and now the market after the weekend is aiming lower again, and it's aiming towards this very important fib. That being said, on this time frame, and we can forget now about these channels. The channels are no longer valid. There is hardly any chance for a recovery to the channel anytime soon. So what we are now seeing is that, as I said last week, this levels about 2930 to 940 was the very important fib recovery level on the March fall. And can we look at this excursion for most of the month of May, early June, as a simple excursion trying to aim higher? This is possible, and it is quite possible that this will become a strong resistance going forward. We don't see it yet, but let's first look at this as a strong support level, with the next support level being the bearish resilience here, which is now equating this fib target. So we can't discard the possibility of the market now dipping lower to test this level. I assume that the market has fallen enough for market punters to try and find some equilibrium around here, but this is not very clear, at least on this time frame. Let's have a look at, let me delete this channel lines. Also important sometimes when we have too many indicators to unclutter the display. So now the daily chart. Right, in this larger scheme of things, we see that this is only profit taking, and there will be probably equilibrium somewhere around here. So we must first see whether there's a possibility of a bounce off this level, and see whether this low being a very, very strong support. The signal is obviously short, but this may be the end of the selling acceleration, at least for now. So 2940, 2950 may hold. 2850, 2860 would be the next level to then hover in this range that we saw when the recovery seemed to be capping around this area. I would assume that the market will remain at very least in a bearish congestion. That said, volatility and whipsaws are a fact of life these days. The possibility, of course, of a fib pattern with 231.25 being still the strong test level is quite possible, but we will look at that now in the 1 hour chart. Okay, the 1 hour chart will give us quite a few indications about the market for today. So if I plot this fib here, we will see the possible recovery potential here. And it is not surprising that a very strong resistance now is the pivot or former resistance around 31.25. The possibility of bounce all the way up to 31.25 looks quite unlikely in the short term, but we could see 30.40 or even 30.80, and this is not a coincidence. These are again about 40-point gaps. This is strange, but it confirms that the market tries to find equilibrium around 40 points. Quanta, even though on a fairly continuous curve, it may not be visible at first, but it's always important to draw them and take cues from those crazy levels. Fib levels, when they coincide with those support resistance levels based on 40-point quanta, make them quite stronger. And in this instance, this area is a little bit messy. We have a support level around 29.65, and it does not quite equate with this longer time frame Fibonacci. This happens, and it can also explain why there will be hesitation here. So my take for the coming day, and there will be, of course, daily updates for members of the class. My take is that the market will try and find some equilibrium around here. 29.40 to 29.65 is a strong support area that is being penetrated, yet not broken. And the chance of recovery would be only if the market closed back above 30.50. Well, that's it for now. I will provide an update near the open. I hope those screenshots I send once or twice a day are of interest and help to you. And your comments on the Rhino Slack will be much appreciated. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.